What am I doing? Hey, I'm watching Sips and Sips and things. So, I'll talk to you later.
Ah, hey there. Didn't see you. Welcome to the first ever segment of Literature. You'll be having it with me, Zamadotx. Nothing more, nothing less, from the east, not the west, and you're reading with the best. Today, girls and boys and non-binaries, we are going to be doing your fave, Hamlet, aka Lion King. Story begins long, long ago in Denmark. So there's Hamlet Sr, whose father, who has recently died. It's nighttime and guards are watching like his tomb and they're talking to each other. No one cares what they're talking about. Hearing noises. What's that? Because we're in a grave. There should be no noises. Bishop comes through and he was like, hey guys, what's good? What's happening? He also hears the noises and he was like, okay, what's that? Boom, Hamlet Sr, the ghost, comes through, ghosting, and they're like, oh my gosh, it's a ghost. Oh my goodness. Need to tell Hamlet Jr that his dad's ghost is out here ghosting. This is dangerous, and they do. Hamlet Sr is dead. He has left his queen, Gertrude, alone. And like the creepy creep that he is, Claudius, Hamlet's uncle, decides, let me marry Gertrude. Like, Hamlet Jr is pissed to the highest level of festivity because his uncle is being a creepy creep. In the play, he blames it on his mom. They have this wedding, it is beautiful, everyone is joyous, except Hamlet Jr, who after the wedding goes off and he has like a little soliloquy, which is like a fancy word for a very sad monologue where no one else is around for some reason. Like you're in a castle full of servants and everybody, but all of a sudden, when you have a soliloquy, he's sad, bummed out. Horatio, he's basically comes through just when he's finished his soliloquy. Coincidence? I think not. I know you're mad bummed, but we have a situation. We have a ghost busting situation. Cue theme music that we can't afford to put in here because I guess like licensing. So Hamlet takes a break from being all sad, and he's like, okay, let me go check out this whole ghost situation. Doesn't make sense to me. Why would my dad be a ghost? Like haunting the castle. You're about to find out. Pan over now to the other characters of this play. We have Polonius is like Claudius's right-hand man, right-hand spy, knows all the tea, he brings it to Claudius, he got his eyes all over the kingdom, he's that guy. Now Polonius has two children, Laertes, the son, and Ophelia, his daughter. He goes to investigate this whole ghost situation. And boom, here's your daddy. It really is his dad as a ghost. And at first he freaks out, and then he attempts to listen to the ghost. This is the first time that the ghost actually tries to speak to anybody. And the ghost is like, listen here, home slice, your uncle, he is a murderer. He killed me for the throne. You have to avenge my death. You tell everybody what the real thing is. You gotta let them know that their king is a killer. And then Hamlet is like, oh my goodness, I hated you because you were my mom, but now I hate you because you're a murderer. I was right, my feeling was Hamlet devises this plan right then and there, that in order to catch out his uncle, he's not just gonna run up on him and kill him because that would be dumb. Hamlet decides that he is going to pretend that he has gone crazy. And honestly, he doesn't reveal to us how that's going to lead to the success of his plan. He just tells us that I'm gonna pretend like I'm crazy, make everybody worry, boom. And then we're like, okay. Yeah, that's what he does. And people believe him. Everybody is worried about him. His mother, Gertrude, is worried about his health. His mother and Claudius think that he's gone mad because he's mad with grief. Claudius just thinks he's being irritating. Claudius even speaks to him on the side and he was like, listen, my guy, I understand your dad did. It's hard. Get over it though. The country needs a prince and you need to act princely. Hamlet acts crazy. He even flips on his baby boo Ophelia, who doesn't understand why he's flipping on her. Like, he shouts really weird things at her when she tries to speak to him. He's like, you know what you should do? You should go to a nunnery so that you can be free and away from the touch of men. Like, you should go right now to a nunnery. Go, girl, go. Leave me alone. And it's weird now because it's like, we were dating. What do you mean? Ophelia, poor thing, is so confused. She runs to Gertrude and she's like, I don't know who he is anymore. Why is he treating me like this? Oh, maybe my father was right. So Gertrude and Claudius decide to ask Hamlet's old friends Rosencrantz and Guildenstern if they can watch over Hamlet because they're worried about him. And now these two drunkards, who are actually quite useless, they're like, what? Cool, no dice. We'll watch over him. We know him. He's all right. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Hamlet is in the courtyard, chilling, killing, shooting some birds, and a group of traveling actors come through, and they're like, hey, Prince, listen, we are a group of traveling actors. We'd like to perform. We would like to perform at your castle. Can we do it? Hamlet says yes. And then he's like, wait a minute, traveling actors perform castle. And then he asks them if he can have them perform a script that he wrote himself. And they're like, what? No dice, we'll do that. Great. Guild Noros come through and they are trying to get some information out of Hamlet. They're trying to squeeze it out of him, but they're not doing it in the most sly way. Which brings us to my absolute favorite quote from this entire play. Hamlet, for some reason, has a flute and he hands it to one of them. And then he's like, yo, why don't you play this flute for us while we're here? And then they say, dude, we can't play the flute. Like, we've never played where have you seen me play the flute? Then Hamlet looks him dead in the eyes and he says, so you can't play the flute? Why did you think you could play me? Hamlet tells everybody that there is a very special play that he has produced to be performed in the courtyard, and he invites the entire royal family, including Ophelia, Polonius, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, and like everybody else. Ophelia is sitting next to Gertrude, who is sitting next to Claudius, because married people do that. And Hamlet sees the empty seat and he sits there right next to Ophelia. He has this thing where he's kind of hitting on her in a very aggressively sexual way, and Ophelia is like, what? Like, the other day you were being very weird to me. You were telling me to go and be celibate for the rest of my life. Why are you doing this? And Hamlet just doesn't explain himself, and he makes Ophelia feel very uncomfortable. I can't remember if she moved her seat or not. This is the only Shakespeare play that has a play within a play. It's one of the like characteristics of Hamlet. Playception is, I guess, what you can call it. This play within the play Hamlet, there is a king, and the king is happy. The king has his queen. He is a good king. Everything is grand. And then the king's brother gets jealous of him, and while the king is sleeping, the king's brother comes and pours what? Poison in his ear and kills the king. Before this play can even end, Claudius, who is upset, irritated, gets up and leaves the room. Why? So everyone's confused and they're wondering, why is Claudius worked up all of a sudden? But Hamlet Jr. is sitting there going, oh, he is caught. Because that was basically his plan. His plan was to recreate the events that his dad had told him about and see Claudius's reaction. And would an innocent man get up before the play has ended and leave upset? Gertrude runs off to her little husband to try and like ease his heart or whatever. The play has to stop now because if the king leaves, you can't carry a chamber. Claudius speaks to Gertrude. complaining that her son has gone too far, like somebody has to speak to him, someone has to do something. So Gertrude, as his mother, decides, you know what? Let me go speak to him. While she's gone, I don't know why, while she's gone, Claudius is left in the room. He has his own little soliloquy. It sounds like he's confessing to us because he's like, I don't know why I did this. I feel very guilty right now. Like my heart is very dark. He's just saying like a bird at this point, but not actually saying what he did that's making him feel so guilty. He decides that, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna pray about it. Yes, a murderer prayed about it. So while he's praying, for some reason, Hamlet Jr. comes into the room and he sees Claudius defenseless, no one else in the room, and he thinks to himself, oh, it's about to go down. And this might be the most annoying part of this whole thing. Hamlet has a sword ready. He's gonna do it. And then he's like, wait, Claudius is praying. If I kill him, he'll go to heaven and not hell. This is unfair. I can't kill him right now. So he leaves. That is it. Folks, Hamlet leaves. He goes to his room where his mother is because his mother wants to speak to him. But Hamlet uses this time to slut-shame his mother even further. She says something about incestuous sheets. Like, he was just very mad at his mother's actions, which has led some people that do literature to believe that actually Hamlet wasn't mad that Claudius married Gertrude after his dad died. Some of them think that Hamlet was just mad that Claudius married Gertrude and not him, which is disgusting. Oedipus complex, it's a thing, look it up. So Gertrude is speaking to Hamlet. Gertrude knew that Polonius was hiding behind the curtain, listening in on their conversation so he could relay the information to Claudius. Hamlet didn't know that. So while Hamlet is shouting all of these obscene and rude, slut-shamey things to his mother, Polonius, like the fool that he is, gasps. Now, upon hearing that, Hamlet thinks, oh my gosh, Claudius is eavesdropping. And now he thinks, well, he's not praying right now. Sword ready, he stabs who he thinks is Claudius behind the curtain. And no, it is not Claudius. He has slain a very nosy Polonius instead. Hamlet is more disappointed that he killed Polonius more than just committing murder itself. He has just killed somebody. What does he do? He just runs off to his room. I don't know what he's just chilling. But now Claudius has a reason to punish Hamlet because murder is punishable. Sends Hamlet off to school because he thinks he needs time to regroup, like bring everything together, just, reconnect with himself. And Gertrude agrees because he murdered somebody. The murdered human is none other than Ophelia's beloved father. For some reason, Ophelia loved him a lot. I don't know, man. Polonius was annoying. Ophelia is distraught. She literally does actually go crazy because of the death of her father. And no one knows what to do. They are upset because Ophelia was like this lovely girl, this beautiful girl who was always so sweet. And now she's just like this very wild lady just walking around the castle giving people flowers. She lost her mind. Guess who pops up again? That's right, Laertes, because what else to stop your studies than the news that your father has been slain? And he's big mad. He is like, how could Hamlet do that to my father? I don't understand why you are defending him. I want justice. Around that same time, Ophelia just committed suicide in the lake, in the most beautiful suicide you will ever hear of in literature. She drowned herself by putting rocks on her dress or something, but she covered herself in flowers first, which is kind of pretty. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of pretty. Now he just wants revenge. And Claudius goes, right. Claudius pulls Laertes to the side and he's like, listen, you want revenge. I want Hamlet gone. Let's help each other. When Hamlet comes back from school, you'll challenge him to a duel. I'm not saying you're gonna win the duel, but I mean, if you let me help you, things could change. Boat that Hamlet is on to go to school gets robbed by pirates. And the pirates are like, okay, give me the loot. And they take the loot and then they make them turn the boat back around for some odd reason. So Hamlet is not back in Denmark and no one knows about it because no one knew that the boat was hidden. Hamlet knows absolutely nothing about Ophelia's death and Laertes' arrival. On the day that he arrives, he thinks they are burying Polonius when they are actually burying Ophelia, which makes him lose his actual mind. He's so devastated, and then people are confused because they're like, when you were here and Ophelia was alive, you didn't even want to look at her, but now that she's dead, you're like sad. Man, Laertes sees Hamlet as he's trying to stop Ophelias' funeral. He's like, you did this. We have to fight. Hamlet agrees for some reason, even though he denies being responsible for Ophelia's death, and he says that he didn't mean to kill Gertrude. Is front and center with her man's Clo. Now Claudius, because he's deceitful, decides that to help Laertes win this fight and make sure that Hamlet does indeed die, he dips Laertes' sword in poison. And just to be on the safe side, he also poisons Hamlet's drink. Knew it or she didn't know it, I can't remember honestly. Gertrude accidentally drinks Hamlet's wine. Claudius couldn't tell her that the cup was poisoned because then he'd have to explain why he was trying to poison Hamlet. The fight starts. Everything's going good. Hamlet got a few cuts in. Laertes got a few cuts in. It's very exciting. Boom! Gertrude is feeling a little sick. Gertrude dies. Now, people are wondering, what could have possibly killed Gertrude? And they check her drink and boom, poison. Who gave her the drink? Claudius. Hamlet sees that this man killed both of his parents and he intended to kill him as well. So he fights way hard, like renewed energy. And at some point, Laertes and Hamlet drop their swords. And Hamlet accidentally picks up Laertes. Yeah. So when he stabs Laertes, he actually stabs him in one and poisons him at the same time. So now Laertes is cut. So he goes to Claudius, sword in hand, and he was like, so you killed my dad, admit it. Now in front of all these people, Claudius has a sword to his face. What is he gonna do? He admits to the truth that he did indeed kill Hamlet Sr. Good, that is avenged. Then Hamlet forces Claudius to drink the wine that killed his mother. He does that. Hamlet says a few hurtful things and he kills Claudius with the poison that was in the wine. Hamlet, unfortunately, had sustained some wounds during the fight and he himself is actually poisoned. But he wasn't poisoned as much as Laertes, so he's dying slowly. Horatio, the best friend, who for some reason was absent most of the time, pops up and he is like, Hamlet, Hamlet. And Hamlet gives his final soliloquy, says he doesn't mind dying because he proved that his father was murdered and also he avenged his father at the same time. He urges Horatio to tell the people of this story. Let them never forget what happened. Horatio is the only person who lives after that, and he tells people of Hamlet's great tale. I think this is the only Shakespeare play where everyone just dies. If you're wondering how it is similar to Lion King, you'll figure. That has been me, Zamadotx, with lit literature. This took way longer than I thought. A reminder to you, viewers at home, please do not use this for educational purposes. You will fail. This has been Zamadotx, nothing more, nothing less, and you are reading with the best.